Carolina is 16 years old and is from Khabarovsk. From the age of 4 to 12, she was involved in ballroom dancing, but then she changed it to strip plastics. Carolina likes it because dancing makes her feel feminine, but she chose a profession that is absolutely not feminine. She is studying at a railway technical school to become a transportation document processing operator. Carolina is a first-year student, but she often skips classes because she does not like studies. Because of this, Carolina's mother, Natalia, constantly rebukes her as she wants a better future for the daughter. No amount of talk can influence the girl. Carolina's stepfather, Pavel, who came into the family 4 years ago, always sides with his wife. Carolina's own father is a former military man. After his military service, he started drinking a lot. When Carolina was 2 years old, her parents divorced. Now the man gave up drinking and got a new family. The daughter from her first marriage keeps in touch with him. But the 24-year-old brother of Carolina, Maxim, rarely talks to his father. Since he is the eldest child in the family, he remembers how much suffering the father brought them. Pavel doesn't like that Carolina doesn't do anything around the house. Everyone was tired of the conflicts, so Natalia didn't mind when the daughter announced that she was moving in with her 22-year-old boyfriend, Mikhail. Young people met by chance on the street outside a store. Very quickly, their communication grew into something more. Mikhail's father's name is Boris. He is 53 years old, and he has his own business. Mikhail, who has no education, works for him. Boris treats Carolina very well, but he scolds his son because he is a lazy. Mikhail's mother, Olga, is an alcoholic and left the family a long time ago. Now Olga has no contact with her son, who lives in the father's 3-room apartment with his girlfriend. Carolina does not like the fact that Mikhail has dumped all the housework on her. Mikhail also often throws parties with friends, after which Carolina has to clean up. Carolina hopes that Mikhail will come to his senses soon, because she is pregnant. The girl didn't expect this, because Mikhail had always told her that he was infertile. Carolina suspected something was wrong because one day she began to feel sick. Her friend Anastasia advised her to take a pregnancy test. A few days later she did. The test was positive. In the evening, Carolina tells her boyfriend that she is pregnant. The girl was upset because this was not part of her plan, but Mikhail took the news surprisingly calmly. Carolina was hurt when Mikhail went out with a friend, leaving her alone with her thoughts. When Mikhail's friend Evgeny found out about the pregnancy, he was shocked. He believes that at 16, girls should be thinking about their studies, not children. Carolina, meanwhile, is in contemplation. When her boyfriend returns, he says they can handle it. The next day, Carolina told Anastasia about her pregnancy. The friend doubts that it will lead to anything good because, in her opinion, Mikhail is a very unreliable man. Carolina was afraid to tell her mother about the pregnancy, so she decided to tell her older brother first. The next day they meet in a cafe. Maxim is shocked by everything that has happened and advises his sister to tell the mother the truth as soon as possible. Determined, the girl admitted to her mother and stepfather that she was pregnant. Natalia was furious because 16 years old is a very early age. Natalia said that she would not allow her daughter to give birth now. The woman also told her to bring Mikhail here tomorrow. In the evening, the girl told the beloved about her mother's reaction to the news. The next day, a serious conversation took place. Natalia insisted on giving up this pregnancy. Then the daughter left, slamming the door. Natalia decided to talk about it with Boris, who was shocked by the news. However, the man still supported his son and Carolina in their decision. Natasha was very angry. Boris told Carolina about the conversation with her mother. He said the young people that he would help them with everything. Carolina's father, on the other hand, was adamantly against the pregnancy and hung up. The girl was upset, left without the support of her closest people. She ignored calls from the mother, who did not change her mind. Carolina got terrible toxicosis. She was nauseated by any food. Because of her bad feeling, she had to give up dancing lessons. The only one who continues to support Carolina is her brother Maxim. He tried to convince the mother to accept her daughter's pregnancy. However, Natalia did not listen to her son. Upon learning of this, Carolina decided to enlist the support of her grandmother, who was not yet aware of what was happening. Her name is Galina, and she is 71 years old. When she found out about her granddaughter's pregnancy, Galina was upset, but she supported her. On the grandmother's advice, Carolina invited her mother to an ultrasound. Natalia agreed. The doctor performed the examination. After hearing the baby's heartbeat, Natalia dramatically changed her mind. She realized that she had been wrong to convince her daughter to give up the pregnancy. They hugged and forgave each other. However, the mother set a condition: the daughter must continue her studies. Natalia also talked to her ex-husband and managed to change his mind. Carolina is happy that now the family supports her. However, due to toxemia, Carolina cannot attend classes at the technical school, and soon she was expelled. Natalia was very disappointed and scolded the daughter. The woman believes that without an education, Carolina has no good future ahead of her. Carolina was getting worse and worse, suffering from toxemia. Because of this, she cannot clean the apartment or cook. Mikhail is annoyed by this. He refuses to understand that the girl feels bad. Carolina was very hurt, so she went to meet her friend. She returned in the evening and was shocked to see that Mikhail was having a drunken party in the house. She began yelling at her boyfriend, who didn't care what she said. Eventually, Carolina left the house, deciding to spend the night at her mother. Natalia is very angry with Mikhail, believing that he is not ready for married life. In the morning, Carolina did not answer Mikhail's calls and went to the ultrasound with her mother. After the ultrasound, Natalia went to work, and Carolina met with Anastasia again, telling her everything that had happened. The girls were found by Mikhail, who was furious that Carolina had not been home for the night. He acted very aggressively and dragged the crying Carolina into the house. Anastasia tried to stop this, but she couldn't. Carolina was frightened, for Mikhail had never used force against her before. He threatened that if she did not spend the night at home again, then everything would be over between them. Carolina was very scared, but she didn't dare leave. In the morning, Carolina tells her mother what happened. Natalia is convinced that the daughter should leave Mikhail and move back home to live. Carolina agreed to this. When Carolina arrived to pack her things, Mikhail asked her forgiveness and offered to marry him. The girl believed him and forgave him. The young people called Carolina's parents on a video call and told them that they had decided to get married. Natalia does not want her daughter to tie her life to this man, and Boris believes that the young people should make their own decisions. Carolina and Mikhail want a fancy wedding and are counting on their parents for help, but Natalia and Boris said they now need to save money for the baby. It was the 20th week of pregnancy. Anastasia, Carolina's best friend, moved to another city. Mikhail kept making scandals with his girlfriend because she didn't clean up or cook. Because of the quarrel, Carolina comes to her mother again. The girl had to go alone to the ultrasound. There, Carolina found out she was having a girl. She forgot her resentment toward Mikhail and went back to him, but he was not interested in the baby. The guy was furious that Carolina didn't come home at night again. He wouldn't let her into the apartment. Carolina cried and tried to make up with him over the phone, but Mikhail was adamant. Carolina told her mother everything. Natalia immediately called Mikhail, but he did not want to talk to her. The woman no longer wants to see Mikhail and hopes that her daughter will never return to him. A week passed, during which time Mikhail did not call Carolina once. She missed him and shared her worries with the brother, and then called Boris to find out where his son was. It turned out that Boris didn't even know what had happened. He immediately yelled at his son, thinking that he was not behaving like a man. The father told Mikhail to look for a compromise with Carolina. He did so and came to her to apologize. Natalia tried to kick Mikhail out, but her daughter forgave him. It seemed that the young people's lives were getting better. However, Carolina is upset that Mikhail puts off getting married, believing that she would look ugly in a wedding dress with such a huge belly. One day, Carolina felt pain and went to the hospital. The doctor said she had fetal hypoxia, so she had to be hospitalized immediately. Carolina was in the hospital for a week, and when she was discharged, the first thing she did was go to her mother instead of Mikhail. He got angry about it. Natalia thinks this is abnormal behavior. In the evening, Carolina arrived at the apartment, but Mikhail was gone. He came back late that night drunk. There was another quarrel between them, but they made up in the morning. However, Mikhail insists that Carolina reduce her contact with her mother. Carolina is finding it increasingly difficult to do the housework, but Mikhail doesn't care. In the afternoon, the guy, who is now almost out of work, met his father and asked for money. Boris, of course, agreed to help. Carolina saw her mother rarely. Natalia is categorically unhappy with Mikhail's attitude toward her daughter. The next day, Carolina visited the grandmother and told her about the quarrel with Mikhail. Galina believes that the granddaughter should be patient, like all women. Carolina's water broke in the morning, and she called an ambulance. It turned out to be very painful. Carolina soon gave birth to a daughter named Sophia. 6 days later, they were discharged. Carolina and her daughter were welcomed by their loved ones. During this time, Michael bought everything he needed for the daughter. Carolina showed her father his granddaughter via video link. Michael started to earn money, and Carolina was very tired as the care of the child rested entirely on her shoulders. Boris supports the young family in everything. Carolina wants the mother to visit her and help take care of the baby, but Michael does not like this idea. Natalia is very upset by this attitude toward her. One day, contrary to Michael's prohibition, Carolina and her daughter came to the mother's house. The girl hopes that her future husband and mother will find some common ground after all.